Audience. Okay. All right. On April 21st, 1992, at 2:26 a.m. in Columbia, South Carolina, a baby girl was born by the name of Brandi Johnson. If you haven't all guessed by now, that is me. Okay,
Yay.
This is me. With the year now being 2015, I've made it to see 22, going on 23 in the next few weeks. So far, I've had a pretty good and interesting life, regardless of any tears or bad times. I'm truly thankful to still be here in existence and have been able to see the things I have. I've lived in Columbia up until I was 4 or 5 years old. During that time, my mom married an Army soldier, and the next step was to leave my hometown and start my journey as a military brat. This journey is one I did not plan out or have any idea of. The first place of duty for my family was Fayetteville, North Carolina. I lived life there for about 2 years. After Fayetteville, I went overseas and lived in Shape, Belgium. For those who don't know, that's all in Europe. That's all the way in Europe, which was a big transition. When I moved there, I hated it because it was something different and far away from my family. But after a while, I grew to enjoy it. Being there was like living in a different world. The people, the historic places, and even the food was different and better than America. While I was there, I got to visit Amsterdam, London, Germany, and Brussels. I could have seen Paris, and a few other places, but I chose to stay at a friend's house instead. Yeah, and trust me when I say as I got older, I regretted that decision. After Belgium, I moved to Augusta, Georgia for 6 years. Augusta to me will always be known as my second home. and the reasonings why I would take all day to explain. So to shorten it up, I would just say it held the best memories of my life, and I received a sister and grew many friends there. After that, I went to move on to Enterprise, Alabama, where I lived for 2 years and graduated from Enterprise High School in 2010. Next, I moved to Olympia, Washington, where I worked at my first job at a McDonald's and learned what depression was and somehow learned to turn depression around and make it the best of things. After Washington, my family was stationed back in Fayetteville, North Carolina. My last year as a dependent and a military brat was in 2014. The ironic but funny part was the first place I started off as a military brat ended up being my last. Everything I've told you all was a brief summary of my story. The only thing left to tell you is a few things about my actual person. For starters, my favorite color is red. My favorite food is rice, macaroni, and shrimp. I'm a well-rounded person. I'm a leader, and I plan to be an entrepreneur. A place that I'm very passionate about visiting is Vegas, and heaven, of course. My favorite sport is basketball. My favorite movies will have to be Harry Potter, The Lost Boys, The Breakfast Club, The Players Club, and Love and Basketball, and any Tim Burton movie. As far as who I truly am in soul and the things that I love to do, you will have to get to really know me a lot more. As far as my life story goes, it's still being written, so until next time, thank you.
Wonderful, yay! All right, true story.
True story, yeah. All right. Audience.
Still here.
Woo-hoo. Yeah. All right. So, do I have any questions from my audience about my journey and my history?
How was Belgium?
Belgium for me was very awesome after a while, but when I first got there, it was, like I said, a big transition. The food was great. Probably gained like all my weight from Europe, to be quite honest with you. Other than that, I mean, it was great because you had a lot of things you could do and see.
What was Washington like?
Rainy and depressing. But after a while, once you start to live there, it was a good place to be because the people were different, and yeah, it was different kind of people there. I mean, they were nice. They didn't really care about who you were and how you were. So that's a good way to live any day, you know. So.
Do you keep in touch with anybody that you met overseas?
I have gotten contact with 2 of them, but everyone else, no. So yeah, I've gotten contact with 2. So that's pretty good. So yeah. But this is my introduction speech, and I thank you all for coming.